I want you to close your eyes for a second. Well, don't close your eyes if you're driving, obviously. But picture this. You're standing on a street in Dublin. It's that sort of gray, misty day where the damp gets right into your bones. And you're looking for a specific address. You've got a letter in your hand, maybe an old, crinkled photograph, for a fact that this building exists.
Okay, I'm with you.
You walk past number 10. You see the bricks, the door, the flower pots. You take a few more steps, expecting to see number 11. But instead, you're standing in front of number 12.
It's the architectural equivalent of missing a step on the stairs. You brace yourself for something solid, and your foot just goes through air.
Precisely. And we aren't talking about a vacant lot here. We aren't talking about a pile of rubble or a construction site. We are talking about nothing. The wall of number 10 is just flush against the wall of number 12.
Right. There's no room.
There's no physical room for an 11. And yet, the numbers skip. The logic of the street is broken. It creates this instant visceral feeling of, wait, am I losing my mind?
Which is exactly where we want to start today. Because that feeling, that disorientation, is the heartbeat of the book we're covering.
It really is.
We are diving deep into the first 16 chapters of The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. And let me tell you, this isn't just a whimsical story about a magic store. It is a dense, layered exploration of history, trauma, and what I like to call the geography of memory.
The geography of memory. I like that. It sounds expensive.
It's free of charge today. But seriously, we are looking at 3 distinct timelines, 2 centuries, and 3 characters who are all circling this one impossible void on Halfpenny Lane.
We have a lot of ground to cover. We're going to be talking about the harsh realities of being a woman in 1921 London.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
We're going to talk about the psychology of domestic abuse and survival in modern Dublin. And we're going to talk about the weird, somewhat pathetic world of academic validation.
Poor Henry.
We'll get to Henry. But first, let's set the stage. Our mission today is to figure out how these 3 people, Opaline, Martha, and Henry, are connected by this vanishing shop.
And more importantly, why does this story matter? Why do we care about a building that plays hide and seek?
Right. What's the so what?
It matters because the vanishing isn't just a magic trick, it's a metaphor. In this book, things that are lost, whether it's a building, a manuscript, or, a person's autonomy, they don't just disappear.
They go somewhere else.
They go into this negative space, they wait, and they haunt the present.
So introduce us to our trio of haunted people.
Yeah.
Who are we dealing with?
All right. In corner number 1, we have Opaline Gray. The year is 1921. She is 21 years old, living in London. And if you think the Roaring '20s were all flappers and fun for everyone...
Oh yeah, you're in for a shock.
Opaline's story is going to be a cold bucket of water. She is fighting a war for her own independence against a family that views her as a financial asset.
Okay, corner number 2.
Corner number 2 is Martha. We jump to modern-day Dublin. Martha is a woman on the run. She has escaped a violent, coercive marriage to a man named Shane.
And she's basically in hiding.
She is currently living in a basement, trying to be invisible. If Opaline is fighting to be heard, Martha is fighting to not be seen.
And finally, our third wheel.
Henry. Also modern-day Dublin. He's a PhD candidate. He's searching for a lost manuscript that he thinks will secure his tenure, his reputation, and maybe
The self-esteem.
the self-esteem, yeah. He's arguably the most privileged of the 3, but he is completely adrift. He's looking for external validation to fix an internal hole.
Okay, let's start with the anomaly itself, Halfpenny Lane. The book opens with a prologue that feels very different from the rest of the text. It's almost like a fairy tale.
It is. It frames the narrative through the eyes of a child. We see a young boy in Dublin, and he's looking at this shop window, but notice what he sees. He doesn't just see stacks of books.
No, it's way more magical than that.
He sees miniature hot air balloons floating near the ceiling. He sees mechanical birds, music boxes.
It sounds like something out of a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
It's so whimsical.
It represents wonder. The shop is a place where the laws of physics are. Polite suggestions. And there's a woman inside. She invites the boy in. She introduces herself as Martha.
Right.
But, and here's the first crumb of the mystery, she offers to tell him a story about a woman named Opaline.
This confused me at first, because we know Martha and Opaline are separated by 100 years.
Yeah.
But here is Martha, in the magical shop, talking about Opaline as if she's a roommate.
It suggests that the shop exists outside of linear time. It's a vessel. And when the boy asks about Opaline, Martha says she didn't like rules.
Which is basically the thesis statement for Opaline's entire arc, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But then, we smash cut to the present day. The magic is gone, the balloons are gone, the shop is gone. We were standing on the pavement with Henry and a city council official named Mr. Dunn, and this scene made me so frustrated on Henry's behalf.
It's a classic scene of bureaucratic gaslighting. Henry is holding a letter. It's from A.S.W. Rosenbach, who, for context, was one of the most famous book dealers in history.
So it's legitimate.
This is a legitimate artifact. The letter references Opal and Gray in the shop at number 11. Henry says, "Here is the proof." And Mr. Dunn says, "I don't care. The map says no."
Mr. Dunn is so dismissive, he calls it the place where it isn't. He's almost mocking Henry for believing in something he can't, physically kick.
But Henry points out the anomaly. He points to the gap between number 10 and number 12. He says, "Look at the spacing." And this brings us back to that concept of negative space.
I want to dig into that. You mentioned it earlier. Is that a real term, or are you just being poetic?
No, it's a real concept in art and architecture. In art, negative space is the empty space around the subject, the air around the sculpture, the white space on the canvas. It defines the object.
Okay.
But in this book, the negative space is the object. The nothingness between the houses is so heavy, so palpable, that it has more presence than the buildings that are actually there.
So Henry is obsessed with the void. He's staring at a blank spot on the map and insisting there's a treasure there.
Because Henry deals in facts. He's an academic. If he can't footnote it, it doesn't exist. This gap is an affront to his worldview. He needs to shill it.
Right.
But for our other protagonist, Martha, the house next door, number 12, is all too real.
Let's talk about number 12, because Martha's living there working as a housekeeper for the owner, Madame Bowden. And this house, yikes.
It's a bit much.
If I moved into a basement apartment and the walls started acting up, I'd be out of there so fast.
It is unsettling. Martha is in the basement apartment. She notices these cracks in the wall, but they aren't normal settling cracks.
No, they're creepy.
She describes them as looking like tree roots or veins. They are spreading. And then there's the sound.
The breathing.
The breathing. She's lying in bed and she hears respiration. Not the pipes clanking, not the wind, breathing.
Now play devil's advocate here. Is the house actually breathing, or is Martha just projecting?
That is the brilliant ambiguity of the writing. We have to look at Martha's psychological state. She has just escaped a traumatic situation where her safety depended on her ability to hear a key turning in a lock or a footstep on the stairs.
She's on high alert.
She is hypervigilant.
So her brain is wired to detect life or threat.
Her brain is wired to detect threat. When you are in a state of high cortisol, high adrenaline, silence is terrifying. Your brain feels it. So hearing the house breathe could be the house actually being a magical entity, or
it could be her own trauma making itself heard.
Exactly. It could be the somatic manifestation of her own fear. She asks, "Are they breathing, Papa?" referencing a childhood memory. She's projecting her past fears onto the architecture.
But then you have Madame Bowden. And she's not traumatized. She's just fabulous.
She's great.
She's this aging actress, drinks gin at 3 p.m., wears silk robes, and she drops a bombshell about the house.
Madame Bowden serves as the chorus in this Greek tragedy. She confirms the weirdness without being afraid of it. She tells Martha about a party she threw in the 1980s. A guest walked out the front door, turned left, and walked into a bookshop.
A bookshop that wasn't there the next day.
Exactly. The guest browsed, chatted, came back to the party. When she left later, the shop was gone. Madame Bowden waves it off. Oh, it was the 80s. Everyone was on something. But it plants a flag for the listener. The shop is a liminal space.
It appears and disappears.
It's not just Henry's imagination.
It's interesting that the shop appeared during a party, a moment of chaos, and disappears during the orderly daylight. It's like the shop is allergic to bureaucracy.
Or perhaps it only appears to people who are looking for something. But let's put a pin in the magic for a moment and go back to the gritty reality of history. Let's go to 1921.
Yes, Opaline. We meet her in her family home in London, and the atmosphere is stifling. It's thick with grief and tension.
Context is everything here. It's 1921. We are 3 years past the end of World War I. The Spanish flu has just swept through the world, and in this story, it killed Opaline's father.
And her father was her guy. He was the one who understood her.
He was her portal to the world. He taught her to love books. Now that he's gone, the buffer is removed. Opaline is left with her mother and her older brother, Lyndon. And we need to talk about Lyndon.
The Reaper. That is his nickname from the war. That is not a nickname you get for being a good hugger.
No. Lyndon represents the trauma of the war, brought home and weaponized. He is cold, detached, and ruthless, and he is facing a problem. The family money is drying up.
So he looks at his sister and sees a bank account, a solution.
He sees an asset to be liquidated. He has arranged a marriage for her to a man named Austin. Opaline has never met him, but in 1921, this wasn't uncommon for their class.
But Opaline fights back. She says, I'll get a job. And her mother's reaction is visceral. She practically has a panic attack. Why is the idea of working so repulsive to them?
Because of the surplus women crisis. We have to remember, Britain lost over 700,000 men in the war. There was a literal shortage of marriageable men.
Right.
The newspapers called the remaining unmarried women surplus. They were seen as a social problem. For Opaline's mother, securing a husband for Opaline isn't just about tradition, it's about survival.
So if Opaline works...
If Opaline works, she admits defeat. She lowers her class status. It's social suicide.
So Opaline is trapped. If she doesn't marry, she's a burden. If she works, she's a disgrace.
Exactly. And the legal system is against her. The Law of Property Act, which gave women equal rights to inherit and hold property, didn't pass in the UK until 1925. In 1921, Opaline is effectively property of her male guardian.
Which makes her next move so rebellious. She decides to buy her freedom. But the only currency she has is books.
This scene broke my heart. She has her father's collection, specifically a first American edition of Wuthering Heights. Valuable, sure, but the real treasure is her copy of David Copperfield.
The reading edition. Can you explain what that is? I'm assuming it's not just a paperback.
No, far from it. Charles Dickens used to do these famous public reading tours. He would take his own books and edit them, annotate them, underline words for emphasis for his performance. He would have special reading editions bound for his own use.
So it's incredibly rare.
It is, but it's not just the rarity, is it? It's the smell.
Oh, the cigar smoke.
It's the sensory memory. She says the pages smell like cigar smoke. Her father smoked cigars while he read it to her. So this object isn't just paper and ink, it is the ghost of her father. It is the physical embodiment of the only love she has ever known.
And she has to sell it to Mr. Turton. Let's talk about Mr. Turton. He's described almost like a mole or a badger.
He's a bottom feeder. He knows she's desperate. He sees a young woman, terrified, needing quick cash. He lowballs her. He offers her 20 pounds.
20 pounds? For Dickens' reading edition, that feels like robbery.
It is robbery, but Opaline takes it, and this is the pivot point of her life. She sacrifices her sentimental past to secure her future. She sells the memory of her father to buy a ticket to Paris.
But she makes a vow.
She makes a vow. I will buy it back.
That vow changes her. She stops being a collector, someone who keeps things, and becomes a dealer. She realizes that books are commodities, and if she wants power, she has to master that trade.
It's her loss of innocence. She takes the money, and she does something very cinematic. She lights a cigarette. In 1921, a woman smoking in public was a statement.
Huge statement.
It said, I don't care about your rules anymore.
So she gets on the boat to France, and almost immediately, her I'm a tough, independent woman act gets tested. A kid steals her bag.
And enter Armand Hassan.
Armand. Dark, mysterious, slightly dangerous. He catches the thief, he returns the bag. But he lectures her. He tells her to be careful of unscrupulous types.
Which is rich, coming from him. Armand is clearly part of the underworld of dealing. He's a hustler, but there's a spark.
Definitely.
Opaline is drawn to him not because he's safe, but because he's capable. He moves through the world with an ease she envies.
She brushes him off, though. She wants to do this on her own. She arrives in Paris. And oh my God, the atmosphere. The writer, Evie Woods, does a great job here. You can practically smell the roasting chestnuts and the river water.
It is the Paris of the lost generation. It's the Paris where you could walk into a cafe and see Picasso or Fitzgerald or Gertrude Stein. It was a chaotic, creative explosion.
And she finds her way to the perfect place.
And Opaline heads straight for the epicenter, Shakespeare and Company.
Run by the legendary Sylvia Beach. Now, for listeners who might not know, explain why this bookstore is such a big deal.
Shakespeare and Company wasn't just a store. It was a community center, a lending library, a post office, and a hotel for wayward writers. Sylvia Beach was the patron saint of modern literature.
She's the one who published Ulysses.
She's the one who published James Joyce's Ulysses when no one else would touch it because it was considered obscene.
So Opaline walks in, and instead of just asking for a job, she proves she belongs. She pulls out a book she found at the street stall, a bouquiniste.
Yes. She found a copy of Baudelaire's Histoires Extraordinaires. She bought it cheap, recognizing its value. She presents it to Sylvia not as a gift, but as a resume. She's saying, I have the eye.
And Sylvia hires her? I love that. Confidence is the best currency. But then we get the celebrity cameos. We meet James Joyce.
Yeah.
And he's not exactly the towering genius we imagine. He's kind of a mess.
He's a nervous wreck. He's terrified about Ulysses being confiscated. He's constantly worried about his eyes. He had terrible eyesight. It humanizes him.
Totally. But then we meet Hemingway.
Oh, Hemingway.
Hemingway, Papa, the legend. And in this book, he is a jerk.
He is described as magnetic, yes, but also malevolent. He has this predatory energy. He tells Opaline that writers are cannibalistic.
Cannibalistic. That's a chilling word choice.
It is. It suggests that he will consume everyone around him, their stories, their lives, to feed his art. It deromanticizes the era. It shows Opaline that she is swimming with sharks.
They might be geniuses.
But they are also dangerous, especially to a young woman.
Speaking of dangerous men, let's check back in with Armand. He and Opaline reconnect in Paris, and they start, well, can we call it dating? It's 1921, courting.
It's an affair, a passionate one. But it's complicated by power dynamics. There is a scene where Opaline sees Armand at a Café Les Deux Magots, very famous spot, and he's with another woman. He's whispering to her, touching her.
And Opaline is crushed. She confronts him. And his explanation is, well, it's a lot of red flags.
He admits he flirts to maintain control. He tells Opaline, falling for you makes me vulnerable. If I can prove to myself that I can still charm other women, then I don't need you as much.
That is messed up. I'm cheating on you to protect my own feelings.
It's classic avoidant attachment style. But Opaline, being young and in love, accepts it. She sees it as his damage, not his cruelty.
And they take the next step.
They sleep together in his apartment in Montmartre.
For Opaline, this is huge. It's the final shedding of her Victorian skin. She has crossed the line. By your mother's standards, she is now a fallen woman.
But to herself, she is finally free. She owns her body. She owns her pleasure. It's a moment of triumph, even if the guy is a bit questionable.
Okay, let's leave Opaline in her post-coital bliss for a moment and slam the brakes. We need to go to the basement in Dublin. We need to talk about Martha.
The transition is jarring, isn't it? We go from the golden light of Paris to the damp dark of a basement. Martha isn't having an affair. She's recovering from a war zone.
She has escaped her husband, Shane, and the details of the abuse she suffered are graphic. Broken ribs, bruised kidneys. But what I found most disturbing was the psychological game he played.
The performative sorrow.
Yes. Martha describes how after he would hurt her, he would be the one crying. He would be the one sobbing, saying, look what you made me do, or I'm so sorry, I'm a monster.
And she would have to comfort him.
And Martha, the victim, would end up comforting him.
This is a textbook, yet rarely discussed element of the cycle of abuse. It's not just the violence, it's the confusion. By making himself the victim of his own rage, he forces Martha to be the caretaker.
It inverts reality.
It makes her feel responsible for his emotions.
Yeah.
It's why leaving is so incredibly hard, because the abuser has wired the victim to prioritize their pain over the victim's own safety.
And that wiring is still there, even though she's escaped. She says she reads people to survive.
Hypervigilance. We touched on this with the breathing house. Martha describes reading the weather of a person. She scans micro-expressions. Is the jaw tight? Is the voice a little too high? She is constantly gathering data to predict a threat.
And this leads to a really interesting character quirk. She says she prefers people to books because books make her nervous.
Right.
That stopped me in my tracks. Usually in these stories, books are the safe haven. Why are they a threat to Martha?
Think about it from the perspective of a hypervigilant person. A person has a face. You can read a face. You can see if they are angry or happy. A book.
Closed box.
It's a closed box. You don't know what's inside until you open it. A story might start happy, and then on page 50, someone gets killed.
Ambiguity is the enemy.
Precisely. A book conceals its intent. To Martha, that concealment feels like a trap. She can't scan a book for danger the way she can scan a room.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
But despite this fear, she's trying to rebuild. She's at number 12. She's cleaning for Madame Bowden. She starts to buy new clothes. She trades her baggy, invisible clothes for things that actually fit.
She's reclaiming her physical form, and she takes it a step further with the tattoos.
The tattoos. This is so mystical. She has lines of a story tattooed on her back.
And she doesn't know the whole story. She says the words come to her in whispers. She feels compelled to write them on her skin. Once there was a girl. It's as if the story's bleeding out of her.
Or bleeding into her. Remember the house? The breathing.
Yeah.
Is the house writing the story on Martha?
That's the implication. She is becoming a living manuscript. The house, the shop, the history, it's using her as a vessel.
But when she tries to enter the literal world of books, she hits a wall, she goes to the library.
This scene is painful. She works up the courage to go to the public library. She wants to read Normal People by Sally Rooney, which, great choice, very Dublin.
It's perfect.
But the librarian asks for a library card, proof of address, ID.
And Martha, being a runaway, has none of that. She can't be on the grid.
So she is denied. And the shame she feels is crushing. She feels stupid. She feels like she tried to step into the world of smart people and got slapped down. It highlights how access to knowledge is often gatekept by bureaucracy.
And who is watching this whole train wreck?
Henry.
Henry.
The man who probably has 5 library cards.
Henry and Martha's meet cute is, well, it's not cute. He's looking in her basement window.
He's a peeping Tom, but he's not doing it for perverted reasons. He's doing it for architectural reasons, which is arguably weirder.
Right. He's looking for the shop.
He's looking for the missing shop. Martha catches him and screams.
It's a bad start. But Henry persists. He's desperate. He explains his quest, and he reveals something that bridges the gap between them. He has a father wound, too.
This is the connective tissue. Henry tells Martha about his childhood. He found a signed letter by J.R.R. Tolkien tucked inside a used book.
A huge discovery for a kid.
Massive. He showed it to his father.
And his father took it, sold it for £500, and drank the money.
That betrayal is fundamental. It wasn't just the theft of the object, it was the theft of Henry's competence.
Right.
Henry found something special, and his father negated it. So now, as an adult, Henry is obsessed with finding the Lost Bookshop because he is trying to reclaim that win. He wants to prove that he can find the treasure and keep it this time.
He sees a kindred spirit in Martha. They're both damaged. So he decides to show her that she does belong in the world of books. He takes her to Trinity College, to the Long Room.
If you have never seen the Long Room at Trinity College, Dublin, Google it right now. It is a cathedral of books.
It's breathtaking.
Barrel-vaulted ceilings, busts of philosophers, the smell of old paper and history. It is overwhelming.
Henry takes her there. And instead of being a snob, he becomes a guide. He translates the Latin for her. He shows her the Book of Kells. He explains that the Book of Kells isn't perfect, that the Vikings ripped the gold cover off it, that the monks made mistakes in the margins.
He demystifies it. He shows her that books are messy, physical objects with scars, just like her. He says something beautiful. A book is so much more than a delivery vehicle for its contents. It's the story of where they came from.
He validates her. He tells her she's smart enough to be there. And then, oh, Henry. He tries to seal the deal with a gift.
The pen corner scene? Oh, boy.
I cringed so hard, my face hurt. He takes her to a fancy pen shop. He wants to buy her a Mont Blanc pen.
Which costs 799 euros.
And Henry, being a broke PhD student, absolutely cannot afford that.
It's a moment of pathetic gallantry. He wants to be the provider, the hero who hands her the sword or the pen, but he lacks the resources.
He has to settle for a notebook.
But Martha sees the intent. She sees that he wanted to give her the world.
He quotes The Little Prince. One sees clearly only with the heart.
It's cheesy. It's incredibly cheesy. But for Martha, who has been seeing with her fear, it lands. It's an invitation to trust him.
And they do trust each other. They team up. Henry finds a clue, an old newspaper photograph from 1921.
This is the smoking gun. It's a photo of Sylvia Beach in Paris. But in the background, blurry but unmistakable, is Opaline on a ladder.
And Martha helps him identify her. The timelines are touching. Henry now has proof that Opaline was real, that she was in Paris, that she knew these people. He is ecstatic.
But just as our modern couple is bonding, our historical heroine is about to face her darkest hour. We head back to 1921, the climax of the first act.
Lyndon found her.
The magazine, the very magazine photo that Henry found in the future, is the breadcrumb that Lyndon uses in the past. Opaline's success betrayed her. Lyndon tracks her to Paris.
He doesn't come alone. He brings Bingley, the man he wants her to marry. He corners her in a hotel room. And the violence here is shocking.
It needs to be shocking. We've seen Opaline having fun, drinking wine, sleeping with Armand. We forgot the threat. Lyndon shoves her into a wall. He physically overpowers her. He reminds her and the reader that she has no legal rights. He plans to force the marriage right there.
But then Armand.
The rogue with a heart of gold, he sneaks into the hotel. He gets her out. They run, and this chase scene is electric. They run back to Shakespeare and Company.
And the literary Avengers assemble. Sylvia Beach and James Joyce hide her.
I love this detail. James Joyce, the man who wrote the most complex book in history, comes up with a very simple plan. Go to Dublin.
He has a friend there, Mr. Fitzpatrick. He runs a nostalgia shop. Joyce says, go there. He will give you a job. You will be safe.
It feels like destiny. Opaline is going to Dublin. But before she leaves, she has to say goodbye to Armand.
He gives her a necklace, a hamsa.
A symbol of protection. It's a tragic goodbye. They love each other, but they both know she can't stay. If she stays, Lyndon wins. She has to disappear to survive.
So Opaline gets on the boat. She watches France fade away. She arrives in Dublin. She navigates the new city. She finds the address Joyce gave her. She knocks on the door, ready to start her new life.
And here comes the twist that punches you in the gut.
A neighbor opens the door. Mr. Fitzpatrick. Oh, love, he died 2 months ago.
The shop is closed. The job doesn't exist. Opaline is standing on a rainy street in a foreign country with no money, no friends, and a violent brother chasing her. And the safety net she was promised is gone.
She is completely alone.
And that mirrors the modern timeline perfectly. Because just as Martha and Henry are getting close, they are in a pub eating shepherd's pie, Martha has just confessed the truth about her abuse. Reality comes crashing in.
Henry's phone rings.
It's Isabel.
Who is Isabel? We haven't talked about her.
Exactly. Henry hasn't talked about her either. Isabel is his fiancée.
Oh, Henry. You idiot.
He has been playing the role of the free-spirited scholar, letting Martha believe he is single, but he's engaged to a high-achieving life coach named Isabel, and he has to answer the phone.
The look on Martha's face. The betrayal. She realizes instantly that she isn't a partner. She's a diversion. She's his holiday romance in his own city.
She shuts down, the drawbridge goes up, the trust is gone, she leaves him there.
So we end this deep dive with all three characters in absolute peril. Opaline is stranded in 1921 Dublin. Martha is emotionally exposed and retreating back to her shell.
And Henry is trapped in a lie of his own making.
It's a masterclass in tension. It brings us back to the theme we started with, lost and found. All three characters left their homes to find something: freedom, safety, validation. But at this midpoint, they are more lost than when they started.
They're all standing in the negative space.
Yes, exactly. They're in the gap between who they were and who they want to be. And that gap is a scary place to live.
So, as we wrap up, why does this matter? Why should the listener care about a fake bookshop and 3 made-up people?
Because I don't think they are made up. Not really. We all have a father wound or a bad relationship or family expectation we're trying to outrun. We're all trying to find a safe place, whether it's a bookshop or a basement or a marriage.
And we all have negative space in our lives.
We do. We all have parts of our history that we edit out, gaps in the timeline where we say, oh, don't look there, nothing happened there. But something did happen.
The Lost Bookshop asks us to look at the gap. It asks us to stare at the empty space between number 10 and number 12 and acknowledge what's missing.
And like Martha's tattoos,
Yeah.
it asks us what stories we are carrying on our own skin that we haven't finished writing yet.
That is a thought to chew on. What is your missing chapter?
Indeed. We're going to leave you there, standing in the rain on Halfpenny Lane. Thank you for diving deep with us.
Always a pleasure.
See you next time.